I'm not paid to be a role model. I'm paid to wreak havoc on the basketball court.
There's the pass to Leitner. Puts it up. Yes! Is it the shoe?
I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been.
One of the world's most talented athletes is retiring. It is true what somebody said today. There was Babe Ruth and Muhammad Ali and Michael Jordan and Wayne Gretzky.
Gretzky in front. Saved by Flaherty. The rebound. Score!
Favre just threw it perfectly right over him to Corey Bradford. Only Brett Favre could do that. I don't care what you say.
This is WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Game on! Game on! Fourth and 8. They rush 3. Spying Hurts, who's airing it deep, looking for Devontae Smith, underthrown, broken up by Jordan Whitehead. The Jets defense delivers again. And the season is reborn for the New York Jets. Their first win against the Eagles in the history of the franchise.
Yo, don't ever think for a second with this NFL stuff you can just predict what happens and it's all going to be all good.
Like Nick Scartamaglia says, any given Sunday.
That's right. That's right. I mean, we've seen a few weird results yesterday. The Jets and Zach Wilson beating the Eagles for the first time in franchise history, as you just heard. Huge win for the Jets. As for the Giants, another L. But man, listen.
A good L.
A good L as far as Ross Levine is concerned. But everything that happened this weekend, we are going to get to on WHPC Sports Talk here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. Your host on Mondays, Joshua Umahi. I am joined by Devin O'Shea, Ross Levine, and joining us on this Monday, got Corey David in the house.
Woo! That one hit, another. Oh, why'd you miss? Nah, I be coming on my day off.
I mean, to be fair, to defend myself, the day you're supposed to be here, I want you to be here. Now, you're doing me a favor today. I respect it. I'm gonna show you love today. Don't worry, I got you. I ain't gonna do no shady remarks, no sly. I ain't gonna do that today. I don't got the energy for that. Ross Levine, how we doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. The Giants played with some heart yesterday, so that's new for me.
It's new for me.
It is. That was new.
I mean, when you're 1-5, you got to find the silver linings somewhere. Right. Devin O'Shea, your Cowboys play later tonight, but as far as 4:05 p.m., how you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm very excited for this Chargers-Cowboys game. Hoping that CD can get 6 receptions, please. I'm excited for Phillies, Diamondbacks. Let's go Diamondbacks.
Yeah, can't root for Philly.
No, absolutely not. But it's just the best time of sports. You got basketball right around the corner. You got a week away.
Yes.
You got hockey coming back just a week ago, and MLB postseason and NFL. There's nothing better than that, really. Is there not?
You got the Liberty getting no victory.
Yeah, forcing a Game 4. We're definitely going to get to them later in the show.
Sabrina.
Devin's crush, Sabrina Ionescu.
Did you see the video of Caitlin Clark?
Dog, that picture is cold. Yo, that's cold.
I'm telling you, she the future.
She is.
Yo, I've said this. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Modern age, woman's Magic and Bird.
I was just thinking that.
You.
I was just thinking.
Book it.
I wouldn't go that far.
Why not?
Just on a talent level. Caitlin Clark is levels above what Angel Reese is. If you look at that NCAA championship last year, last year, Angel Reese wasn't even the best player on her team. Come on now, stop the cap. Do we not go cap on that?
I'm just talking in terms of the rivalry that's going to add buzz to the sport.
And she had to go get outside help. Getting Haley Van. All that just to beat Caitlin? Big Kate out here. She's standing on business, a one-man army.
You don't rock with Haley Van Lith?
No, that's you clicking up to beat one person?
I don't know. I like her. I like her.
She's very pretty to me.
She is very gorgeous. 516-572-7440. Football fans, we're going to start with your sport. Giants fans, we're going to start with your team. Because, like Ross said, it was a spirited performance by the Giants. Listen, you don't have Daniel Jones. You're 15.5-point dogs in Buffalo in primetime. That whole first half, I'm just sitting and waiting, and I'm watching the game. I'm like, okay, first couple drives for the Bills. All right, it's prime time. I'm sure it's taken them a while to get started. Remember, they just came back from London. I'm sure it's not an easy adjustment to make with all the travel and jet lag and everything.
Didn't perform well in London. Just lost Mount Milano in London.
They got, exactly, Devin, they got decimated in London because you lose Milano, who, in my opinion, I don't even think it's opinion, it's fact, the best coverage linebacker in the NFL.
Absolutely.
Tre'Davious White, one of the best corners in the league, so you're missing two dogs on defense, on top of everything I just said, but you still don't expect the Giants to hang around because I'm watching the game. Okay, it's taking the Bills a while to settle in. And then
15.5 spread.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks that's going to be close.
No, and there's always a kiss of death whenever it's a primetime game, and when the entire panel, especially for NBC, does the picks, and they're all on one team. Nah, fade that every single time.
Oh, yeah.
Fade that every single time because the Giants, that defense, led by Bobby Okereke, who had a great game. Micah McFadden had a fumble recovery and a pick.
Yeah.
And Deonte Banks. And before we get to the Giants' loss, that kid, you got, Corey and Ross, you got something in that kid.
Yeah. I mean, if you really think about it, the defense has forced some turnovers the last couple of weeks, which is something new. I didn't see that the first few weeks, so that was nice to see. Honestly, I know there's no moral victories in the NFL. I get that, but you have to remember the circumstance that they were put in. I mean, the Giants, they don't have Andrew Thomas. They don't have John Michael Schmitz. They also lost, I think, another offensive line. So they basically lost 3 or 4 offensive linemen.
Didn't Pugh have to move to the left tackle position mid-game?
Mid-game.
Justin Pugh, straight off the couch.
Straight off the couch.
and they still hung in despite all that. So, nobody's going to think of it as a win, and you shouldn't, but that was a good defensive performance, and they showed heart, which was nice to see. And hey, you know what? It's kind of a good way in both ways. Not only that we lost, we were competitive, and we still might get that quarterback. We still might draft that quarterback. So we played good, and we're positioned to draft a quarterback. Not much better.
No, I mean the Giants. In terms of the tankathon, yeah, they had a good night last night.
They went from 6 to 5.
Yeah, and you talk about who's going to be in position for the Giants to draft because I don't see this Giants season going anywhere.
No.
And then all the talk was about this generational quarterback prospect and Caleb Williams, and he's the best thing since sliced bread. And if it was a matter between him and Burrow and Trevor Lawrence, he would go first overall. After his performance against Notre Dame,
three first half picks.
Yeah, and what was USC?
And by the way,
48-20 they lost.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, Joe Shane I think was in the building. I think he was in attendance.
No, I actually tweeted this because the Vikings GM actually was going to go to the game, and I'm like, nah, he's going to extend Kirk tomorrow. This is crazy. There's no way that Caleb Williams is making a good showing for himself right now.
But if looking at some of the quarterbacks, you got Michael Penix Jr. who's leading in the high.
We're gonna talk about him.
But for me, watching that game yesterday, the Giants showed a lot of heart. And I know people say I'm tired. Me personally, I'm tired of moral victories.
Oh, me too. I'm sick of it.
But I totally understand it. Now, me personally, when it came to actually watching the game and I sometimes have personal invested into these games. I really had a situation where I thought the Stephon Diggs was going to score. I thought maybe Gabe Davis was going to score, and I thought Josh Allen. I had that all on the ticket.
Yeah.
Look. All of a sudden, Bobby Okereke became Fred Warner out of nowhere. Became one of the best linebackers in the league.
But he had the good thing about that signing, and I said this when the Giants made it happen. He's a sideline-to-sideline linebacker. Yeah. When's the last time the Giants had that?
It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
And the Giants, even last year, let's not forget, they made some good practice squad off-the-street signings. I mean, even Isaiah Hodgins, when he came in last year, he was very good. So the Giants, you gotta give Joe Schoen that. He does know how to find some talent, during the season that can come in and play pretty well. So, I mean, that's pretty good. I will say this: Tyrod Taylor, for a backup, I thought he looked fine. I thought he looked pretty good. What not so great news is the news with Jones, because even though he missed the game, and maybe he plays, maybe he doesn't, the neck injury, it does not sound good if he gets hit by that, and that concerns me.
And that's why they held him out.
It might be longer than a week.
I think it should be.
What are
you forcing Daniel Jones back for?
I would not.
Do you want it to be?
I don't want him to play the rest of the year.
All right.
No, that's fair.
I don't.
That's fair.
I mean, it doesn't help him. It doesn't really help the Giants. And honestly, I kind of want to see Tyrod play a little bit more. I don't.
He looked good last night.
He did very good in the very. You don't get very much chances with Daniel Jones as a starter, but he goes down with injury. You take advantage of that. He didn't look great at the end of the first half, which was very iffy, but it could also be the fact of getting Saquon Barkley back on this offense and being able to get 24 carries an entire game. But I think Tyrod Taylor, he did a much better job than Daniel Jones in the fact that he got everyone involved in the passing game. Like, everyone was doing well. Like, Slayton killed it. Wandale killed it. He even got Hyatt involved in it. And like there was one catch that I think it was called back, but he was getting everyone involved, and that's what you want to see with this offense, because there's not one number one wide receiver really. You can kind of call it Darius Slayton, but there's not really any number one. But you got everyone
Wandale
involved.
Robinson, though, is starting to separate himself.
8 receptions, 62 yards. He's been doing very good as of recent.
And you bring up Tyrod Taylor, and he did very well last night. Except for this.
The game's final play. Taylor over the top to Waller. Can't bring it in. Taron Johnson defends, and the Bills win.
Now there's that one. That's actually not the one I wanted to play.
Well, that's the end of the game.
That's the end of the game.
Maybe call pass interference.
That should have been.
Could have been a better pass. Could have been, definitely PI. And mind you, that play came after the PI that they got, that set him up at the 1 yard line. So it could have been better, but this is the one I wanted to get to before halftime. And the debate when it happened, is it Brian Dable's fault? Is it Tyrod Taylor's fault?
Well, Dable looked pissed afterwards.
Yep. Let's listen to it, and then we'll debate it for ourselves.
They're going to hand it off. It's Barkley. He's trying to run. He's not going to get there. Can they get it down? I don't think so. They are not going to do it. 5 seconds and 4. Giants trying to get on the ball. They can't. And that's a terrible, terrible clock management end of the half. That's awful.
Shout out my favorite Italian broadcaster, Mike Tirico, on the call.
It's not like this is like Bryce Young, a young rookie that has just started. This is Tyrod Taylor. He's been in the league for a while.
Yep.
He's been in the league for a minute. He's been in the league so long. He was on the team that he just went against yesterday. He was literally on the Bills. So for a guy like Tyrod Taylor, a veteran like that, to make a bonehead move where he hands the ball off to Saquon Barkley with I think like 17 seconds left or less or something like that, you can do a pass play. You get at least 2 passing attempts in at most. You at least get 2. Why run the ball and have the clock run out and then not even? Like, that you have no timeouts. You know the clock is going to run down after if you potentially don't get the touchdown.
Yep.
You know you're almost 0% chance you're ever going to get that spike down.
Yeah, not great. And you bring up Dable being pissed. And I've seen so many people talking and tweeting when it happened. Oh, Brian Dable, that's a horrible coaching decision. Tyrod, that's a what do they call a run pass option at the line. For some reason, I can't imagine why he would change it to a run play with no timeouts.
I heard people say that he audibled on that play.
He did. That's what it was.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna defend Tyrod on this one.
How can you?
I can't
on this play
because guess what? It wasn't either on Dable or Tyrod Taylor. It was just the Bills did something smart and dirty. They held Saquon so he couldn't get to the line.
That is 100% true, but why have to come to that and even go with the run play in the first place?
I'm not going to lie. Their offense, as far as passing-wise, isn't their strongest suit, especially with Tyrod Taylor. So you see if you could get Saquon in. If you can't, then you go take the knee down and settle for the kick. And the Bills are smart enough to say, let's hold on to him for a little bit, make it so that they can't get back to the ball.
Sit on him.
Yeah, most teams do that.
Oh, yeah.
Pause.
First one of the show. That's 417. That's actually pretty good for you, Devin. Caller. We got a caller on Sports Talk. You're on. Tell us who you are and where you're calling from, what you want to talk about.
What's up, Josh? It's Justin. I'm just driving home right now.
Justin, long time no see or hear. What's up?
Yeah, I was out of commission for like a week due to some sickness. I don't know what the hell it was. I'm blaming Nico. He said he was sick last week, so I'm gonna blame him.
Not a bad strategy.
You guys were mentioning, you played the call at the end of the game. What play would you guys? Because I just thought it was a terrible play call. What would you, if you could change anything for that last play for the Giants? Would you bank on maybe I know that the offensive line is not great, but I mean you get Barkley back. Why not try and run it? Why not try and do maybe what the Eagles do when they push the quarterback? They push everyone forward.
Push.
I just thought that was such bad play design. What do you guys think? What would you have done differently?
They went full out blitz. Like you had guys coming out of.
Yeah, Barkley wasn't going to make it.
I don't think if you went for the run, you couldn't have known that was going to be a full out blitz like it was. But if it was a run, he gets eaten. And you saw what happened in that first half when there was no time left, and you went with the run in the first half, and it ended up failing for you. And you tried something different in the second half.
Me personally,
what about Tyrod Taylor? He's pretty mobile as far as a quarterback goes. Why not have him? I don't know. I thought that was such a bad play call, and it's such a crazy ending to that game. I mean, clearly that was a penalty.
Yeah, that's
I don't know how they don't call that a pass interference. It was worse than the call previous that was actually made. I don't know what's wrong with the referees, but I don't know. I just think that play call was horrendous. But quickly, I know you guys are going to be moving on. I'm sure to the Jets next. I am excited with this team as a whole. I still am not sold on Zach Wilson. I don't think anybody should be sold on him. But if he could do what he did yesterday, and I'd like to see a little bit more, it would be nice to have a quarterback to pass for 200 yards once in a while. But if he could not turn over the ball, and he's been decent with that lately, they are so talented at every position for the most part. They can make a run. This is a team that could easily be a wild card team. They've played really tough teams, and they've played them all pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a nice little run, maybe get 3 or 4 wins in a row. They got an easy game next week.
100% agree. And going into the season before trading for Aaron Rodgers, everyone knew that there was one hole in this team, and it was pretty obvious. It was the quarterback position, and it was the guy that was getting these. It was Zach Wilson wasn't able to be that guy with a defense that is Super Bowl contenders, with a core around you with Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook, Garrett Wilson, Lazard, Conklin. You have a great group of guys around you. The only thing that you needed was a quarterback, and when you traded for Aaron Rodgers, that was the hole that was filling it in for this team to be able to make it to that Super Bowl spot. And now Zach Wilson, he's performed very well in the last 3 weeks, but he has to continue. Like you said, you'd like a guy that passes over 200 yards. It's pretty obvious.
I do have one hypothetical question, and then I'm going to hang up, actually, and let you guys answer it. So let's just say, I think you guys are all going to agree one way with this, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Let's just say Zach Wilson continues to play this well. He's, passes for 200 yards every single game, a touchdown, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. The team is a nice cohesive unit. You get into the playoffs, and Aaron Rodgers is good to go. I mean, this is a guy now that would not have played for 4 or 5 months, and he's obviously the more talented quarterback. But I'd like to hear, and I'm going to hang up, what you guys I'm assuming you're all going to start Aaron Rodgers, but I'm going to hang up and listen, and have a good show, boys.
Absolutely, Justin. Thank you for the call as always. And transitioning to the Jets now, and trust me, we're going to spend a lot of time on this game because there's so much to attack from it. To answer Justin's question, I mean, you have to roll with Aaron Rodgers. It's not quite the Tom Brady, Drew Bledsoe scenario from 2001 with the Patriots, but it's crazy to me, and shout out my anatomy and physiology professor because we talked about this for like 20 minutes before class. The fact that Aaron Rodgers is already on his feet, he's off his crutches, he's throwing the football, and this is what, 40 some odd days after his Achilles tear?
Right.
I don't think I've ever seen something like that before.
He looks like he could play.
He did.
He looks like he could come in and play. Play for a snap.
If he had a good offensive line, maybe.
Oh.
Right.
But just want to go back to that last play with the Giants.
Real quick.
I thought that was the right call, especially giving up the matchup size wise. I thought that was the right thing. And you have to think about this. If he doesn't grab him, I feel as though that's a 50-50 ball, and I feel like Waller comes down with that. So I feel like that play right there gave them their best shot to win the game.
And Waller in the past has been that guy to be able to take that ball in.
He's a possession type of guy. He's not going to give you a lot of a lot of yards after catch, but he's definitely a possession guy. Now with Aaron Rodgers, I feel as though I think he's going to come back. I honestly think he's going to come back.
Oh no! Is you guaranteeing it?
Guarantee. I guarantee it.
He did it. He did it. He actually did it. All right.
Look, I think he said he gave himself a timetable on when he feels like he can be back, and I think he's reaching. And now I don't know what experimental procedure he did, but apparently he worked. Maybe he might lead to the future of like athletes thinking about going this route.
Well, you know, Corey, Aaron Rodgers thinks outside the box.
He does.
You can't fit him in a box. Whether it's vaccines or Achilles tendon repair, he's going to do things his own way. So we'll see how that actually goes. But
good question: if he does come back, is he technically eligible for comeback player of the year?
No.
Yo, he's stupid.
This might be a more remarkable feat than how fast Adrian Peterson came back from that ACL a couple years back.
And by the way, you bring up comeback player of the year. I'm sorry, we have to go back to the Giants game real quick.
No.
First off, all the prayers to Damian Harris. That was a scary looking injury. I'm sure he's still in the hospital getting tests done. That's a scary looking neck injury, but you gonna wheel him off in the ambulance?
Oh no. I saw that. I was like, "What is that?"
It's not funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. But
no, but this guy's worst thing that's ever happened to him in his entire life.
So not funny.
The thing that's going to be surfaced around him in his entire life that he's never going to be able to get away from is the fact that he died on an NFL field, and he will never leave that. They will never let him let that down.
Like, that's not funny. Like, the injuries and obviously what happened to DeMar Hamlin is not funny. I don't want nobody listening to be like, "Oh, WHPC Sports Talk is
What was the bus called? What was the
ambulance?
The ambulance.
No, because I'm like, yo, the fact that NBC and their TV people, when somebody's laying on the ground, their first thought is, let's find DeMar Hamlin on the sideline. Put the camera right on him. And then you go have the Hamlin number 3 in the windows? Yo, come on, bro. That's the funny part. Imagine NPC's like, Hamlin, camera 1. Yo. I just had to.
Any Bills player gets injured. Cut the change the camera. Get DeMar.
Is
it in the bathroom?
Get a camera in the tunnel. Terrible. Let's finally get to the Jets game. Trust me, we're gonna spend a lot of time on it. Whew. Robert Saleh, obviously that defense showed up and showed out, and he's in the press conference after the game, and you can tell he's on a little bit of a high. So he's commenting on how the Jets season has gone so far.
I got beef with this dude.
I'm sure you do. More specifically, the quarterbacks he's faced. Robert Saleh, what you got to say about your competition this season?
You know, through these first 6 weeks, we've played a gauntlet of quarterbacks, and I know we haven't gotten all wins, but we've embarrassed all of them.
Shut up. Shut up.
Embarrassed all of them.
Embarrassed all of them.
If you got no haters, you ain't popping.
Come on, are we kidding?
I mean, no. Their defense has been putting up.
Their defense has been doing.
Yeah,
good.
that's what
very good. Yeah.
Look, make no mistake. That's who exactly he's talking about. He's like, hey, my offense, as them, my defense. He's really a defensive mindset guy. So when he sees how his defense has been playing, especially when you got the I want to say the Williams brothers.
Yeah,
Quincy and Quinton. And they showed up again yesterday.
I think first brothers since
the Babineau brothers.
The Babineau brothers to have a turnover in the same game.
Shout out the Babineau brothers.
Can you guess what position those guys played?
Babineau's?
Yeah.
One played linebacker and one played...
I only got the linebacker one.
One played safety.
One played defensive tackle. It was like a big brother. It was like the little brother was bigger than the big brother.
I thought I had it. Well, Devin, you want to get to why you have beef with Robert Saleh saying this?
You outperforming Russell Wilson, yes. Outperforming Jalen Hurts, yes. Outperforming Patrick Mahomes, yes. Josh Allen, yes. Mac Jones, yes. That's 5. You've played 6 games this year. You haven't. There's one game that you did not embarrass and outperform them completely, and that's the game that you completely got blown out of, and that's against my Dallas Cowboys. My Dak Prescott, who has not been great at all this year. He's been okay this season. He has not been too good. He has not been too bad.
Oh, so he's been mid.
He's been mid, yes.
Very mid.
And we saw him what he did against the 49ers defense, against a unit of a defense that team has, and he threw 3 picks against that team. But against this Jets defense that Robert Saleh I don't even know how to describe what Robert Saleh is doing to this defense, but to say that you embarrass all of them is factually incorrect, because 34 for 38, 255 yards and 2 touchdowns is not embarrassing, and it's not outperforming. You threw your quarterback threw 3 interceptions to our quarterback who threw 7 incompletions and 2 touchdowns in the game. At least say, yes, 5 out of 6 games, yes, you did outperform them. But against Dak Prescott, no, you did not.
That was such a cute little rant, Devin.
Thank you.
You always going to stand up for your quarterback. I respect it. You always going to stand up for your guy.
You make a stupid comment like that.
You better win tonight. I'm just saying.
We're going against Justin Herbert.
You better win.
It's not like we're going to Zach Wilson.
Still, though, the way the Cowboys have looked in wins, when you're blowing people out the building... And you're going to be 3-3 after 6 weeks? I don't like that.
I mean, the Chargers did start, 0-2? So Eckler should. I've heard that Eckler should have the entire workload for him, even though from his injury that he had a few weeks ago. And Herbert should be just like he was before the bye week without the injury. So it's going to be a good game. I think the over and under, I want to say, is like 53.5. It's up there. So it's going to be a good game.
53.5 is not going over.
I feel like I gave.
I don't think it's going to be over.
I feel like it gave some good pieces away in some trades in fantasy. Kobe Myers gave somebody a touchdown this weekend. Say
the Guangdong Tigers. Thank you for your service, Mr. David. I got Ramondre Stevenson too.
I was mad that
he did good too.
I was mad. I gave you. I basically probably saved you in fantasy.
You did? Nah, you did. I was going to lose otherwise. We thank you for your service, Corey.
Oh, you crushed it this week.
Nah, listen, man. When I was 0-3, there ain't no pressure.
My squad ain't.
No pressure.
My squad ain't.
I was 0-3, man. I was 0-3. But you know what? We shake back. We back to 500. That's enough of fantasy football talk on this show. We're going to take a quick break, but after the break, we're going to expand more on the Jets. I can't even. Huge isn't the word for how big that win was last night. That was a big time performance. Will the Jets make the playoffs after that game? How do they project in playoff positioning after that game? We're going to talk about it. Also going to get to the NFL 7-minute Sunday recap and the weekend headlines. After this message, you are listening to WHPC Sports Talk here on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by the Enza Brandy Law Firm, a full-service law firm that works with litigation, personal injury, real estate, and trusts and estates. The Enza Brandy Law Firm is located at 33 Walt Whitman Road, Suite 203 in Huntington. If you are looking to purchase your first home or seek compensation for injuries, you may get more information about the Enza Brandy Law Firm, 631-757-7471, or online at enzabrandylaw.com. That's ENZABRANDI law.com.
Yes, back on Sports Talk here on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I don't care who you are. This instrumental always going
This is a vibe.
Do something to you.
If you're in the car right now, straight up vibe.
Yeah, you're welcome to. Joshua Umahi, joined by Devin O'Shea, Corey David, and Ross Levine, 516-572-7440. Sports fans, call us up. Jets fans, call us up for sure. We're going to talk about your team, that big win against Philadelphia. All right. So, we heard Robert Saleh before the break. We've embarrassed all these quarterbacks. Now, Devin stuck up for Dak Prescott, so we're not going to say all. That's incorrect. That's true. But Jalen Hurts yesterday. Jalen Hurts, who's obviously MVP caliber, but the Jets had him in a box all game. All game. Aside from that one rush touchdown that probably wasn't even a rush touchdown.
It should have probably been called back.
Yeah.
It was on fourth down.
Not even called back because it was originally called no good.
Yeah, because
how do you
he
reverse
fumbled
that call?
and then another Eagles player picked it up in the end zone, but on a fourth down you can't fumble forward, and so it should not have been a touchdown.
Yeah,
he got lucky there.
The refs was just I don't know what they was doing on that one. Check their FanDuel. But
that was delayed game. That was so delayed.
It was delayed game too. They didn't get the playoff.
It was at 0-0. It should have been delayed game. It should have been 5 yards, field goal, 3-0. That
Eagles favoritism always hitting on Sundays. But you know what? Jets defense ain't care. They first forced Jalen Hurts into 3 interceptions
and almost 4 at the end of the game.
Yep, Jordan Whitehead should have had that. We played the clip earlier. But listen. This defense, I can't tell you. And Robert Saleh, we joke about him on this show. We give him a lot of flack. If you ain't got no haters, all that stuff. But he knows how to coach defense, and he has this Jets defense hooping.
Yo, Josh, I felt cursed watching that game. Literally.
Oh, your precious Eagles taking that?
No. Literally, I'm like, okay, almost at the end of the game, I'm like, the Eagles, they probably gonna lock this up. So I'm like, let me put a quick money line in, and let me just put another team. Soon as I lock in, Jalen Hurts pick. As soon as it happened. Stop
it.
Get some help.
The Jets almost screwed it for themselves too. They really did. In the last 2 minutes of the game, I think it was 1:46. I want to say that was left. The Eagles did not care to tackle Breece Hall because they wanted him to go into a touchdown. Because if you continue to go down, if you continue to run, go down, cut down the clock even more. They're only down by 2 points. You get a field goal, you win the game. They didn't try to tackle him, so Breece Hall walked in he just ran right through them. He literally ran right through them because they did not want to tackle him because the Eagles want to get a chance to go.
If he would have stopped, they would have pushed him into the end zone.
Probably would.
I love Mekhi Becton. He tweeted after the game, "They told us on the field we let y'all score." And then he just puts all these funny ass memes. Like, if you're the Eagles, you can't say that and then not go down and answer that.
You know what that's called, right? They call it in football terms. They call it the highway defense. Just let them go through.
Yeah.
But
backfired on the Eagles though.
I felt as though Jalen Hurts made a critical error in that pass. He stared down that pass the whole time. I'm looking because he's trying to throw it to Dallas Goedert. I'm like, I see A.J. Brown a little ahead of him, maybe a more reasonable pass. I'm like, why didn't you go for that one? Or at least a run. I'm just like, y'all was just...
Yeah, he played like a dumbass yesterday.
It was one of their worst performances, and it's just crazy how all the undefeated teams was just like, you know what? Today's the day. Today's the day.
Yeah, we definitely gonna get to Cleveland.
One of the hardest parts of this Eagles loss that they had, one of the biggest factors was obviously the 3 interceptions that was thrown by Jalen Hurts. But other than Jalen Hurts and his 6 yards a carry on his 8 carries, you had DeAndre Swift carry 10 carries for 18 yards and Kenneth Gainwell 2 for 13.
Oh, they wasn't doing nothing on the ground.
You couldn't, other than Jalen Hurts, you had nothing going for you in that run game.
And running around.
It's because of that. It's because of that defense in New York with the Jets. Quinnen Williams. This defense is a masterpiece. Like it's a masterclass.
It's chef's kiss.
It's chef's kiss. Quinnen Williams, Jermaine Johnson, John Franklin Myers.
Jermaine Johnson. I remember I criticized him 2 weeks ago because he didn't have a sack yet. Yo, he's come on strong. Pause.
Somebody got to question it. I'm not gonna question it, but somebody think about this. Robert Saleh goes from the 49ers, kind of built that defense up, left them in a good place.
Yep.
And then he comes in and builds another great defense. Crazy. And the only people I know that's happier now than the Jets probably after that win is the Miami Dolphins from the 70s, who every year they drink champagne when the last undefeated team.
Oh, they the only. They popped 2 bottles yesterday.
They known as the only undefeated team ever in national football, thanks to Eli Manning.
Thanks to Eli Manning.
I'll give you that.
I gotta say the Eagles. I mean, when you really think about it, listen, 5-0 was 5-0 at the time. That was a very fraudulent.
It really was.
It
really was.
Remember, I called them last week an imperfect 5-0. It wasn't impressive at all.
Sam Howell just completely exposed this Philadelphia defense.
And
almost going.
They're giving up a lot of pass yards. Like I know Zach Wilson didn't have the greatest game, but even Zach Wilson was pretty comfortable throwing against that Eagles secondary. That was pretty damn good last year.
I believe that they were missing Slay, if I do recall, and I believe they also were missing Jalen Carter, which were 2 big pieces on this defense that this Eagles were missing. But
even then, even when they had Slay,
even though you're missing Jalen Carter and Darius Slay, you can't lose to Zach Wilson. You can't.
But Zach Wilson, listen, man, I tweeted, and maybe it was incorrect. I thought he was playing a great game at some points. And we grade this on a scale, right? It's not Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, great. For Zach Wilson, it's pretty good. Mm-hmm. So he controlled the game. That's all you need him to do. I know he's a number 2 overall pick, and he's got a just great arm talent, but he's a game manager on this team if this Jets team wants to win. And that was such a big win. I can't stress it enough because you look now, the Jets are 3-3. They play the Giants. They have a bye week now, but they play the Giants 2 weeks from now. The Chargers and the Raiders, those are 3 winnable games. You have the Bills and the Dolphins immediately after that. But to finish up the season, you get Falcons, Texans, Dolphins, Commanders, Browns, Patriots. If you're 2-4 heading into that stretch, you can probably kiss those playoff dreams goodbye. And that's why that win in Denver was big, and this win is even bigger against the Eagles. So
both of them coming from the defense.
I'm so curious to see after the bye week. And I know we're going to talk Kirk Cousins and the rest of the NFL week 7 in a little bit, but week 6, excuse me. But if Zach Wilson, if you give after the bye week, I'm really interested to see how that kid plays. We know the defense is going to bring it.
Yeah, the Giants are home. They're both home.
Oh, yeah.
But so I could definitely see Zach Wilson defeating this Giants team. If the Giants defense looks like how they did against those Bills, Zach Wilson's going to have a tough time. But if the Giants look like how they have all season, then the Jets should have a pretty easy way with the Giants.
Facts.
But the rest of the season, there are some games where you'll probably see the opponent win, like the Chargers probably win.
I mean, they already beat the Bills, but the Bills that's a revenge game.
And now the Bills are home. The Bills probably win that game.
Yeah, but it's not a guarantee.
No, it's not.
No, I wouldn't say
you
that.
Look at week 1, punt return touchdown.
Nothing's a guarantee with this Jets defense.
No,
they're never out of a game.
No, and also I could see the Jets are probably... They play the Giants, Chargers, Raiders. at minimum, you got to win 2 or 3 of those games. At minimum.
This is going to look
That's
like
fair.
This is if I was somebody, I'm taking the under. This is about to look like one of them old classic Steelers versus Ravens games with very low scoring,
Giants,
but
yeah.
great defense. But it's going to be a great defensive showing.
No, I can see that.
But there are some games in this group of games that they have left remaining that you definitely need the wins. Like there are some, like the Texans, you're going to want to beat C.J. Stroud. You're going to want that win for the rest of the season. The Falcons, the Desmond Ridder, like the Dolphins, and those 2 games, that's going to be pretty tough. But
I can't wait to see, because the Dolphins is doing historic stuff on offense. They have 3,000 yards of total offense in week 6. That's unheard of.
If any defense was to stop Tua Tagovailoa, it'd be the Jets defense.
I can't wait to see that.
The Jets defense that has outperformed multiple quarterbacks. 5 out of 6 quarterbacks they have faced.
You're making sure to say that 5 out of 6.
5 out of 6 quarterbacks that they have faced this season. This Jets defense definitely could be a defense that could actually stop this Tua offense.
I can't wait to see that. And obviously the Jets much better positioned after they end the Eagles' perfect season.
And by the way, everybody thought the Jets, people would have signed up for 3-3 even with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, because we talked about it before the season. That schedule to open the season was tough.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah, you got the Bills, you got the Chiefs, you got the Eagles. Those are tough games in there, and they held the fort with Zach Wilson.
And Nico
that just shows you how special this team is,
and Nico said
or can be.
In our chat that he thinks that if Rodgers was not injured and was playing the entire season, that they'd be like 5-1.
It's not a bad take.
Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Bills.
It's not a bad take.
I don't know. 5-1.
I think 4-2 maybe. They would maybe 4-2. I think they would have beat New England if Rodgers was there.
Oh, yeah, that's the game they obviously win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, and listen, if Rodgers magically comes back and plays against New England in that last game, I think the Jets would win. I do.
Yeah, I'm making a bet with my professor. If Aaron Rodgers does come back, I need that A++. All right, that's the wager. I hope he's listening. All right, y'all, it's that time.
Oh yeah.
I love how everyone just perks up in their seat whenever they hear this music.
Come on. It doesn't give you just like so much serotonin just listening to it?
Yeah.
Come on.
You know that's
serotonin.
You know what I'm thinking about? Remember last Friday, it was like this. Remember yesterday, I'm not going to be able to pick on a Monday game?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's in the house.
He's here.
and Liam's not here, so I'll do it for him.
Look, the Lord finds a way for me to hate on the Cowboys.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll pick that game afterwards, where we're going to recap what we saw yesterday. 7-minute Sunday recap. Let's go. The Baltimore Ravens held off a second-half push from the Tennessee Titans, winning 24-16 in London. Lamar Jackson, 223 yards, a touchdown through the air. First touchdown in the career of Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
Good look for him. Derrick Henry, though, 97 yards and a touchdown. Ryan Tannehill left the game due to an ankle injury.
Can you believe that Derrick Henry has the same amount of passing touchdowns as Ryan Tannehill?
That's pathetic. That's the most pathetic stat I could ever hear.
It really is. In week 6,
it's not what you want.
That is embarrassing.
Not great.
Hey, look, that's why he gets paid the big bucks over in Tennessee.
Yeah, there you go. Ravens won 24-16. Also winning 24-16. That's the Washington Commanders.
Ritter had so many tries.
Yeah, Ritter. So 3 weeks ago, I called him the worst quarterback I've ever seen. Last week, he played well, so I'm like, all right, let's see what you do this week. Doo-doo. 3 picks.
Yep.
And his draft mate, Sam Howell, goes for 151 yards and not a touchdown, 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
Excuse me.
Yep.
I needed a B. John Robinson touchdown so bad.
Well, too bad.
I didn't even get 20 more yards.
Too bad for you, too.
Is that the New Orleans just hate on?
No, we don't get to them bozos, trust me. The Cincinnati Bengals, their defense dominant in the fourth quarter. Their stats in the fourth. They forced Seattle into an interception, a punt forced, and back-to-back turnovers on downs when Seattle got it inside the Bengals 10, 17-13 home W.
That red
Bengals
zone
over the
defense.
Yep.
That red zone defense was fire.
Geno's not that guy. He had 3 opportunities and didn't capitalize on one. And DK, you did some punk stuff.
Oh, DK Metcalf.
Every single game you see him just throwing people. I'm like, dude.
He ain't getting the ball.
Well, you know, kids, roid rage is a funny thing.
Seriously.
I don't think it's that. I think it's the case of the Keyshawn Johnson.
Are you kidding? Like,
you know what the Keyshawn Johnson is?
I do.
Throw me the ball.
It's a mix, right? There's definitely roid rage in there, bro. You can't convince
It's
me
every
otherwise.
week where he's just throwing some random player on the other team.
Would you be if
every week?
Would you be if you got paid all this money and you can't produce? Look, look, receivers, they need the ball. I know this already.
Well, if you ain't getting the ball, just do what Jamar Chase is. I'm open.
He got a sponsorship from 7-Eleven. Shout out.
He was wearing the 7-Eleven chain. Oh yeah,
that's a good businessman right there.
Oh yeah.
You see what Stephon Diggs do when he don't get the ball?
Hey man, listen. Speaking of the AFC North, how about the Cleveland Browns?
Cleveland, this is for you.
How about that?
You had that ready.
I am. You know who I'm most disappointed in? Nick Bosa.
Oh, here we go.
How do you in that team let a guy like PJ Walker beat y'all? Come in there and beat y'all.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
A backup quarterback, a third stringer.
That's what you meant?
Didn't he have a sack?
What are you?
He did have a sack.
XFL player. Come on.
He got a sack.
He had a sack. Oh, that was right.
A guy like that.
Pause.
A guy like that, Nick Bosa should be right there in the backfield, living in the backfield.
Yo, Corey, stop.
Have him running on every play. Fred Warner, where were you?
Man, the San Francisco 49ers.
I mean, their defense played all right. They had like 2 picks, I think.
Oh, both defenses. These are 2 elite defenses.
No,
Christian McCaffrey. No,
Cleveland just stepped up that one day.
No,
They did not.
have you watched?
What?
Have you watched football?
What?
Here we go.
Myles Garrett. Outside of Myles Garrett, I don't see
You're not gonna get me. You're not gonna get me on my element
some
today.
of the
It's
two
not gonna happen.
top defenses in the league, and that's a Cowboy fan saying that. Those are 2 top defenses.
Bad take. The Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel both knocked out the game with injuries. The great Brock Purdy had never lost the start prior to this one. 12 of 27. That's
also
not
hasn't
what
thrown
you
a pick
want.
this year.
Yeah, they saying his Linsanity run is done.
Nah, I'm not gonna go that far. How about Jake Moody though? The San Francisco kicker.
He was in a bad mood.
Had his entire family at the game. He's
He was
from
in a bad
Ohio.
mood.
When your entire family's at the game, this is what you do.
No good.
You had the meme where guys go, "Oh brother, this guy stinks."
Oh brother, this guy stinks.
You know I always got them on ready. You can't catch me slipping. How about the Detroit Lions? Eagles 5-1 now. Niners 5-1. The Detroit Lions 5-1 at the top of the NFC. Jared Goff MVP consideration?
This Lions team is for real. Their defense, for real, looked so much better than past seasons. This offense, even with Dave Montgomery going out with injury for the rest of the game, Jahmyr Gibbs being out for the game, losing, not having Brian Branch, you still crushed the Bucs. I know the Bucs record when they were at 3-1 was a little fudged because it was against bad teams, but still, this Detroit team is for real. They really are
dangerous.
I hope that they can get Garner back.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah,
you see him tweeting at Debo.
Yeah,
Debo's getting in a fight, and then Trent Williams runs in, tackles the guy, and he's like, "Yeah."
No. Nobody went to stand on business once Big Trent came through. But besides that,
you got Trent Williams on your back.
But no, ski. I'm a little. They do it. I might got to go get my blue ski mask.
Yeah, here he go.
Look, I want to say that franchise has been on the downhill since that Dallas Cowboy games years ago.
Who knows? This might be the best team in Lions franchise history. We'll see how they end up. The Vikings, they grabbed a 19-13 win in Chicago. Justin Fields left injured, dislocated finger. He won't have surgery, but he'll miss some time. Jags now 4-2, 37-20 over Gardner Minshew, who threw 3 picks, and the Colts now 3-3. Miami, their offense dominant once again, 42-21 W.
They're down big at first.
Yup, down 14-0 after the first quarter, but Tua, 2 touchdowns. Raheem Mostert, 130 all-purpose yards, 3 tutties. Tyreek Hill. How about a touchdown?
Non-quarterback?
That's my quarterback too.
No, I said best non-quarterback is Tyreek Hill.
Well, yeah, facts. 163 yards, a touchdown, and a selfie while taking the backflip. That's good work.
Penalty. I don't know why they called that. Come on.
Yeah.
NFL, no fun league.
I know it was
league.
I know it was an insult, but is Tyreek Hill really just mini Randy Moss?
Don't call that man mini, bro.
He's short, but he's super fast. Like you really can't.
Pause.
Word. The Saints The New Orleans Saints. Should I call them my New Orleans Saints, or do I want to associate with them?
You're Dennis Allen.
I'm not going to go as far as I have gone with Dennis Allen, but listen, the Saints is terrible in the red zone. Derek Carr is the worst red zone quarterback I've ever seen. This is going back years now. Combine that with a clueless offensive coordinator. Shout out to C.J. Stroud, though. C.J. Stroud threw his first career interception. His NFL record streak of most consecutive pass attempts without a pick surpassed Dak Prescott. Devin.
Congratulations, dude. I'm happy for the guy.
That's your coordinator.
Ross holding up the anti-Pete Carmichael sign. Yeah, get him out of here.
Hey, did you see that viral video of James Winston talking to Alvin Kamara?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
That's how me and you talk, Corey. That's how me and you talk.
That's what I thought. That's what I think. That's exactly what I thought.
You're right.
And,
I was gonna do an edit of Corey's face on Jameis and your face on Kamara. Dude, I was gonna do it.
That's me and Corey. That's me and Corey. Shout out to the Raiders. They're 3-3. The Pats is 1-5 because Mac Jones, down 19-17, thought it was a good idea to just sit in the end zone and have this happen.
Jones, 5 yards deep, and this is safety. The safety by Crosby.
How you gonna take a safety? Whatever. Yeah, I already said New England 1-5. They're done. Cooper Kupp and Kyren Williams for the Rams. Kupp went over 100 yards receiving in the first half. Kyren Williams had 2 rushes for 4 yards in the first half, but
I was pissed.
McVay was like, why don't I run the ball in the second half? Why not?
Dude, I'm like, look at my fantasy team. I'm like, dude, he's got to do something. He's got to do something.
Rams ran 7 consecutive run plays out of halftime. Williams finished with 20 rushes, 158 yards, and a tutty. Rams 3-3, Cardinals 1-5, and that will do it for your 7-minute Sunday recap. I think we made good time.
It's a good week of football. It was a good week.
Very solid week, and it's not over yet because you're Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
On Monday Night Football tonight. Real quick, let's get everyone's thoughts on the game. Well, not thoughts. We don't have enough time for that. I wish we had more time. I wish we had 2 hours, but we don't. Excuse my nagging, though. Real quick, your picks. Who we got? Cowboys versus the Chargers in L.A.
Well, I'll go first because it's the obvious answer. I'm going to go with my Cowboys to win. Chargers started 0-2, won 2 weeks. Coming off the bye.
Corey's making faces at you.
Yeah, they're gonna be coming out hot, coming off the bye. This is the game that's been on that they circled on the schedule, so they're gonna come in hot. But I'm gonna take my Cowboys to win.
Well, he said it again. Right?
Oh yeah.
He said, I'm going to double down. I'm going with the Los Angeles Chargers to win. I feel as though they have a comparable defense that can stack up against going up against the Cowboys offense. As far as offensive-wise, they have weapons. And I don't know if the Dallas Cowboys cornerbacks can match up with the height and agility that you have guys like Keenan Allen. You have, I forgot the first-round pick that they just had.
Quentin Johnston.
Yeah.
Quentin Johnston.
He's like 6'2", 6'3".
Something like that.
Mm-hmm. He hasn't done anything really so far this season. It's been really disappointing for what he's shown this season, being that he's on my fantasy team. But he's got to show more sparks.
We'll see how the Cowboys do. I'll pick the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Although
Josh.
I've regretted it. I regretted it last week. Y'all better not disappoint me again.
I'm tie. Tie.
Okay, Nico.
Tie.
Yeah, Nico over there is calling ties.
Tie.
Let's get to some MLB postseason.
Woo!
The Rangers and the Astros in the ALCS. Rangers defeated.
That sounded so sad, Ross.
Rangers defeated the Astros 2-0 behind former Yankee Jordan Montgomery.
Wheeling dealing.
6 1/3 shutout innings, 5 hits allowed with 6 strikeouts. Outdueled Justin Verlander, who had this happen.
The 1-2 pitch is hit hard, deep right field, and Leody Taveras takes Verlander deep.
There's the first postseason home run for Leody Taveras. It gives the Rangers a 2-0 lead.
Verlander 6 2/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, including that home run in the top of the 5th. Rangers, the crazy thing about them is that they look dead in the water late August, early September.
Yeah.
But they found their footing again, and now they're in the ALCS, and now they're up 1-0 in Houston with a chance to get another one.
They fell off a cliff.
They did. It's weird. They show the dugout when I guess Taveras hit the home run, and they showed DeGrom and he doesn't look happy.
Well, DeGrom never looks. I think he's,
I'm like, why? Your team's in the ALCS. Oh my God!
Max Scherzer talked about him doing a sim game after the win the other day, and he's like, "Yeah, I've never done a sim game hungover." But he's like, it was quite something.
Stop it. Get some help.
Crazy. The NLCS game 1 is tonight. Diamondbacks at the Phillies. Both teams with huge upsets in the NLDS, led by, obviously, the Phillies. Bryce Harper. Here's what he did in Game 3, it was, in Philly against the Braves.
And there's a high fly ball. Deep right field. Harper watches it fly.
Now, let me just say, I try to tell y'all about Atlanta sports. Yeah, they can sneak up on you when you don't expect them to. They can win a few national championships. They can win a World Series in 2021. But the second you put expectations on an Atlanta sports team, they going to choke every single time. And I'm happy I'm proven right again. How you lose to the Phillies 2 straight seasons in the playoffs?
MLB postseason, anything can happen. Literally anything can happen in the MLB postseason.
Yep,
you look at the top 5 teams in the entire league this year. They all combined for 1 win. The Braves had 1 win. It's disappointing. But
they are the Braves team is just soft. They are such a soft team.
They're mentally weak too, because you saw Orlando Arcia going back and forth with Phillies fans.
Oh my God!
Bro, you can't be doing that. You can't be doing that. That shows you that you're a mentally fractured team.
Yeah, they're not. Let's put it this way. I don't hear any Braves fans talk about 100 wins again. Yeah.
Yeah, no. And even if you do that, we're not respecting it, right?
No.
We'll close out with where do I want to close?
I just want to say one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anybody who ordered that Logan Paul KSI debacle of boxing should deserve a refund.
Dylan Dennis sucks.
Yeah, Devin had some choice words for him before the show that he can't say on air.
I can't say these words on air just because it's not good.
I'll close out with this. The International Olympic Committee officially approved the addition of flag football to the 2028 Olympics in LA. Who knew I was going to be an Olympic athlete, all right? Nah, I'm nice at flag football. Y'all can't tell me different. Y'all not seeing me at flag football. Don't look at me like that, Corey. You're not seeing me in flag football. I will juke you out. You don't even know, bro. Nah, I'm not.
Breakdancing.
I'm not trying to hear that, but we will call it a show on WHPC Sports Talk. Corey doing the belt defensive back signal. From Ross Levine, Corey David, Devin O'Shea, this is Joshua Umahi signing off and thanking you once again for listening to Sports Talk here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.